Welcome to Regan and Friends, a podcast series hosted by the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation and Institute. Each month we will share some behind-the-scenes moments and stories of President Reagan with some of his more famous friends. Thomas William Selleck is an American actor and film producer, as well as a California Army National Guard veteran. His breakout role was playing private investigator Thomas Magnum in the television series Magnum P.I. between 1980 and 1988. Since 2010, he has co-starred as New York City Police Commissioner Frank Reagan in the series Blue Bloods, and since 2005, he has portrayed troubled small-town police chief Jesse Stone in 9 made-for-TV movies based on the Robert Parker novels. Tom Selleck became friends with President and Mrs. Reagan in the 1980s. He even attended the White House state dinner for Prince Charles and Lady Diana on November 19, 1985, and enjoyed a dance with Mrs. Reagan. He became quite active in Mrs. Reagan's White House tennis tournaments, which raised funds for her Just Say No campaign to end drug and alcohol abuse. During these tournaments, players included celebrities, tennis professionals, and White House cabinet secretaries.
Tennis has become such a general sport. It is estimated that there are 32 million people playing, and it's become a family sport. I now believe that the family that plays together stays together. Parents and children can found playing. Sometimes the parents win. I was going to take up tennis again until I found out you couldn't get the horse on the court.
Tom Selleck attended many of these tennis tournaments over the years, even acting as MC and chair umpire for a few of the matches. In 1986, with Mr. T as the referee, and celebrities like Tom Selleck and Dorothy Hamill bearing rackets, Mrs. Reagan was able to present $100,000 to the Just Say No Club and the Washington Fund for the Prevention of Substance Abuse. And it was Tom Selleck who introduced Mrs. Reagan to the crowd that day.
I'd just like to thank all the participants, all you real supportive spectators, and in particular, I'd like to thank our corporate sponsors, because their contributions are making this a real successful endeavor. And now, having done all my duties, I'm going to go find my favorite dancing partner.
Thank you. How about having that for a favorite dancing partner? Not bad, huh?
Following the 1987 White House tennis tournament, Tom Selleck gifted this white foam stadium seat cushion back to Mrs. Reagan, which had his name imprinted on it. In 1988, Tom Selleck introduced Mrs. Reagan at the Republican National Convention and then gifted her his handwritten remarks.
On a professional level, I've had the good fortune to serve the First Lady in the fight against drugs. And on a personal level, she helped me overcome my fear of dancing with the Princess of Wales. And I am proud to call Nancy my friend.
Their friendship extended well beyond the White House. He attended galas and events at the Reagan Library as a guest of Mrs. Reagan numerous times. In April of 2008, Tom Selleck escorted Mrs. Reagan to her seat at the funeral service for Charlton Heston. As he walked her out that afternoon, he told her he'd like to bring her some avocados from her ranch. She jokingly replied, "I'll believe that when I see it, Tom." Well, the very next day, Tom Selleck called Mrs. Reagan's assistant to ask if he could drive to her house and bring her some avocados. And he did. Later that month, Mrs. Reagan wrote a letter to Tom, thanking him for the avocados and inviting him to be her guest at an upcoming library event with Tom Rocroft. He graciously accepted. In 2010, when the Reagan Library and Reagan Foundation were renovating the Reagan Library for the 2011 centennial celebration of President Reagan's life, it was Tom Selleck who stepped forward to voice the video in Mrs. Reagan's gallery that focuses on the love story between Ronald and Nancy Reagan. And in 2016, when Mrs. Reagan passed away, Tom Selleck attended her funeral services. Thank you for watching.
Don't forget that when you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll be notified every time new videos and podcasts are added to our site, including our Regan and Friends, Words to Live By, and Reagan Forum podcasts. And don't forget to follow @RonaldReagan on Facebook and Twitter, as well as @Reagan Foundation on Instagram and YouTube.